Hey guys, how we doing? Hopefully Rod Sprague is still here. Sprague. Like egg. I remember it's like egg. I haven't seen you in a little while, Rod. Um, so welcome to IsoBuddy's channel. Tonight we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk a little bit about a couple of things, but mostly we're gonna talk about enrichment for our animals, okay? Because I am a firm believer in enrichment for every animal. So for us, for our animals, for the kitten at my feet, who's probably going to attack my feet in a little bit. Sandy's already got out a blue tongue. So we have Aunt Sandy from Aunt Sandy's Skinks. I just found out she's a grandma too. So Grandma Sandy. She breeds blue tongue skinks and apparently has morning geckos now, which we're going to talk about. Morning geckos. This tank's coming along. It doesn't look like it. Here it is, but it's coming along. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how we're going to get this kind of dressed up over here eventually. And let's bring Sandy on. So we have one viewer, it looks like. That's probably Rod. I don't know. Can I see? It's me. I'm the viewer. Okay, well, here comes Sandy. Sandy, welcome to the show.
Hello. Now we have two viewers.
It's not counting you. I don't know what the deal is. It says it's me. Oh, it's Rod. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Who's this? Who have we got here?
This is a baby, 4 months old, and it's just Morgan times Marty number 5.
Okay. They don't get names.
Not if you got 60 or 70 or so.
You get attached. This one's very pale, or is that just the lighting?
No, they're really white.
Yeah.
The dad has white in it, like Turner white, I think, and the mom is a T+ caramel.
Okay.
3 of these this year turned out like super light. And I don't know if you can see, but this baby has brown eyes.
I can't see that. She looks like she's about done with this.
Yeah.
Tongue's going crazy. She's like, all right, lady, we're done with this. Give me my roaches.
I've got chicken here and everything. So it's 9:30 here in the east.
Okay.
So they start sleeping about 6 p.m. So they're just like, what is going on?
I'm used to that. So, Bingo, she tells me the schedule. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice having smart lizards that look stupid so that they can tell you what's up. So, and these are northerns, right? These are the northern?
Yes. Oh, they're 100% northerns, yes. I have Asians, and they've bred for 9. This will be the 9th year, but 0 babies. So I certainly don't have that figured out.
Okay.
But
not for everyone.
Yeah, not. There's a couple people in the States that have bred Indonesians, like the Halmaheras.
Okay.
But that's about it, and that's just recently. But I decided to get a tent this year. I've got 3 in mind that I had to choose one and put them together in a tent. The tent's going to be like 8 foot by 4 feet or 6 feet or something like that.
In a tent?
A tent. It's like a horticultural tent. You can grow things. It's a greenhouse, I guess, but it's not clear.
Is it the black one? Like mostly black?
They look silver, the ones I'm looking at.
Okay. Yeah, for reflecting all the light and everything. I got you.
So you
I got you.
Hang lights and stuff. Lots of hides. I'm going to put 2 floors besides the bottom floor so they can climb and get away from each other because the female's actually pretty grouchy.
Okay.
Male is a lot sweeter.
That's good.
This guy's, I think his tongue's, I'm sorry I'm not in the center of things. His tongue's going crazy.
It is. He is trying to figure out how to get away. He's like,
his tongue is a little bit pinker than normal in the back.
If he eats.
Like Oh, crunch, crunch. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's a dried grasshopper I put calcium on it.
Okay.
So that's a different food for this guy or girl. I don't know.
Now, in the case of blue tongues, I've noticed that that's a big deal. It's kind of all animals, but you can really do varieties. They're omnivores, and she really responds to it to the point that she's kind of spoiled, so it's hard for me to get her to eat something 2 times in a row or even twice a week. She'll be like,
You spoiled your baby?
yeah, I just have one. So I have the luxury of doing that, right?
Yeah.
I don't have 60 or 70 to be like, this is what's on the menu, boys. This is what you get.
Yep.
So, but
hungry.
That's a simple way to do enrichment too, is to entice them with new foods. Like that's the best, easiest thing to do, and I think it's great for their nutrition.
Right. And this is something crunchy, so it's very different.
I haven't really done anything crunchy. He's really into it though.
I got some black soldier fly larvae.
Okay.
I got like 10 pounds for $30, I think.
Wow.
And they're very full of calcium. I don't know what the phosphorus to calcium ratio is with those, so it shouldn't be like a regular food. Neither should these dried crickets.
Yeah.
Or dried grasshoppers, but they're easy to like hide in their substrates, tuck them here and there, and they'll smell them and hunt them down.
Okay.
They're dried and gross looking, but
It's a nice treat. That's enrichment too, having them actually have to look for it.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo's enrichment is picking out the things she doesn't like out of her meal. That's the hunting she does.
Does she throw them at you?
She moves them. She's very delicate. She moves them out of the bowl, and then she looks at me like, I don't know what you were thinking, and then goes back to eating.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, she's a stinker. So, yeah, and she wants to be spoon-fed all the time now. So she wants to be like,
and a real spoon? A spoon?
I have a spoon, and I have a spoon that I use to measure out the powder food for the morning geckos.
Yeah.
And then I started to use it because I was trying to show her a new food. I got these. It's a canned food, basically. Rachel Ray made these meatballs. Basically, they're like meatballs the size of, I don't know how to, like the end of your thumb, basically. Almost the end of your thumb.
Oh, okay.
So I put them in her dish. They smell really good. Honestly, they smell really good. She had nothing to do with it. She didn't even look over toward the dish until I brought one on a spoon. I thought she'd get one and then be like, oh, okay, I'll be over here now. That didn't happen. She just sat there and looked at me like, all right, keep it coming. And so I just fed her the whole thing. She ate everything I spooned her. So now that's what we do. That's our special time.
Is she overweight?
She's not actually. I don't feed her every day. So she gets a big meal like every 3 days, and then she'll get a little thing here and there. Like I love deviled eggs, so I'll have like half an egg yolk, or
that's perfect.
Chopped up egg, or I'll take some blueberries. I do berries and I mash them up with the veg, so then the veg has like a dressing on it, basically. So she chows her kale and carrots and
good
all that stuff because it's dressed. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's get you to eat this.
Mm-hmm.
She has a chef for an owner, so it's a good thing.
I know other people who are chefs for their blue tongue skink.
Right? I mean, that's another thing. I never knew, like having an omnivore, it's good enrichment for me. So to have her and be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. So that's perfect. One big meal a week and then a snack later.
Yeah, because she's basically full grown now, I think.
Oh yeah.
She's a little bit longer than, her head will sit in my hand, and then with the tail, she's longer than my forearm, so probably a good 2 feet now.
Yeah, her mama was very long.
Okay.
Not quite 24, but getting there. Close. These guys are kind of shorter and fatter. Did you know you
Oh,
can
yeah.
down? They don't even care.
I have pulled her out of the dirt by her tail a little bit to
Yeah.
see. What I do is I tug on it, and then she comes darting out the front. So that's all I really want.
She has a
So,
great environment. I will compliment you on that.
yeah, thanks. Have you
Absolutely.
seen it lately? Have you seen?
No, not lately.
This is it here. She just got a new bulb, a new heat bulb, and then I'm going to put a heat. Because it's so open, I want her to have a really good heat source. I got that clay or the ceramic
Super
heat
tiny.
emitter thing. Huh?
It's super tiny. I can't really see it. This is my.
Oh,
You're about like this big.
it's way small. Okay, let's move you over here. Oh, you're on your phone. There we go.
Yeah.
So it's a mess right now because I'm building. But and I had to put an extra lid. She had this big monstera plant in there. I might replace it because it can't come out the top anymore because the kitten likes to go visit Miss Bingo in her setup. And I had to put it on lockdown because she would just be in there, and then she got her or he got his paw bitten pretty good. Bingo had enough, and got him pretty good on one of his toe pads. So I had to put my vet tech training to use and bandage that up.
Yeah.
But my wife was like, "Are you mad at Bingo?" No, not at all. I'm mad at this cat.
Yeah.
Hey, Moon.
She's just defending her spot.
Yeah. Well, the first time I noticed it, I was here at the computer and I heard hissing behind me. And so the kitten and the older cats don't really get along all the time because the kitten is like, all he wants to do is play. So I turned and it's Bingo hissing. And the kitten's just sitting there staring at Bingo like, what are you? He wanted her food, because she gets the canned food and they don't. So the cats don't because all my cats have sensitive stomachs. So that's another thing. We have to get them different dry treats and feed them whatever we can find, basically, to entice them without upsetting their stomach. So
my dog is that way. My
yeah,
that way. He just eats certain pet foods, and it's always kibble. He won't eat canned, but I put kibbles in it, and he does really well. And unless it has grain, I don't do grain in the dog food, but
I don't.
His treats are like apple slices or celery. He loves celery or squash.
That's funny. That's great fiber for him.
Yeah.
So now back to blue tongue specifically. So what I've done in my setup now, I have a more like try to be more naturalistic with mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yours is more you're a breeder, so it's a different setup. It's like bins. What do you call it? Is it bins? Is that the right drawers?
Yeah. So their bins, they're 2 feet by 3 feet, maybe bigger than that. They're 8 inches tall, I think. Mine, it's different than ball python. Ball python, where you like pull out the tiny little kind of like a chest of drawers. These are more like what people use for rats, who grow rats and mice.
Okay.
There's a screen top, so they can get fresh air, a lot of fresh air. They can see out. They can see me as I'm in the room. They have better hearing, and I can have heat and light from the top. I don't have to do it from the bottom. So I like that. I got this idea from, I copied it actually exactly from TC Houston from Reptile Mountain TV. And from that guy, Camp Kennan guy.
Yeah.
And then I think he got it from Ty Park. So, and I don't know if they still do this kind of setup, but it works well for me.
There's a lot of things that I find the hobby, and by the hobby, I mean like exotics keeping. It's always changing. So there are methods that are old that still work. They're still fine.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always people like pushing to the next level and doing the next thing. And that's great. That's great. But I don't think it's necessary all the time for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
If you have healthy animals, you have like this guy's bright and happy, and now he's finally chill. He was as shy as you were, I think, to come on the show.
Nervous, aren't we, buddy?
He's doing better now. That tongue has really calmed down now that he's had his crickets or grasshoppers. But I think in a setup like that's a little more like a bin is a little more sparse. There's not a lot you can do to change that. Like
Right. Yeah.
so having options for like with Bingo, even in her big setup, like I was just talking before the show, guys, I harvested all this bark, these big pieces of bark, like sheets of it from the trees in a cemetery that I visit to harvest items for the isopods and the ants and whoever else. Sticks, leaves, all that stuff is harvested from this cemetery that I've verified doesn't use pesticides or herbicides. So it's all about as natural as you can get. White rot wood, everything I could use in terrariums I have or setups I have from there. So I'm putting in a big pile of bark, just big pieces of bark together for her to just kind of rummage through and dig through. And now talking to you, I'm going to hide food in there so she can find it on her own.
Oh, yeah. She'll flip those over.
Yeah. And it'll give the isopods. There's a bunch of isopods in there too. So she'll love that. There's not magic potions, the Dalmatian, the high orange Dalmatian. They look like magic potions, but they're not. And orange vigor. Armadillidium.
Yeah, those are
Armadillidium vulgare. Love them. So very cheap, very cool isopod. Which is also enrichment for her because I see her grab one now and then because they're bright colored. So when they show up, it's like jelly beans are walking by. Of course, you're going to grab it. So
orange flavors too.
I haven't tried them, not yet anyway. So Justin keeps trying to get me to, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll watch.
Right. So my intention again is I change it up. So everything kind of changes from time to time. I have to build her a new hide. She doesn't fit in her hide anymore, the cinder block hide. I'm going to use the materials I have to sculpt one while I'm building this project, which we'll get into in a little bit. So for your bins, like what do you use? What methods do you do to try to give them more enrichment? Because they are pretty smart. I was pretty surprised at how smart Bingo is.
I'll just put you back.
A lot of Australian animals are super dumb. So it was like they super are.
I don't know. But I think these guys are pretty smart.
I think so too. Yeah. Yeah.
Don, that I like to do is switch things up. Because these guys have limited space.
Yep.
And it's a lot of work to make sure if one of my skinks gets some kind of germ, whatever, something going on, they all have it. So it's into the thousands of dollars just to get them seen by a doctor. And then there's how much a medicine would cost. It'd be awful. So I have a standard of sanitary that's higher than I would have if I just had one skink, right?
Sure. Yep.
So that makes me want to keep the bins kind of plain and easy.
Sure.
At the same time, I don't want them to be bored. So I use a lot of things that are throwaway, like paper
towel tubes.
Yeah, if it's small enough, the babies love these. I'll put these in the babies that are like up to maybe 2 months old, and they'll be like 3 or 4 inside here, just out, and they just love it. And I'm like, you can't hardly get them out. You have to like tear it up to get them out. But everybody has paper towel tubes, and you don't have to buy. It's cheap, and you can throw it away when they poop on it.
You can get. I have it. I haven't implemented it yet. I have a poster tube from work that is.
Oh yeah.
Like we got promotional posters in it, and then I got permission to bring it home. So, but it's really hard cardboard. I thought I could just cut it with a knife or something, or scissors. No, I have to get out my saw and cut it because it's really hard. So I'm gonna do that. It's about this big around, so Bingo even could get through there. But I just need to make sure it's long enough or short enough that she can't get stuck. Really,
Yeah. Well, it'll be out also.
Right.
Some other things like for hides, if you have a skinny reptile, this
Okay.
was $1, I think, at a home store like Lowe's or
Okay.
Home Depot. And it's just a tube. If you want, you can like glue something in there, put some silicone in there, stick some sphagnum moss on it, or rocks. For
Okay. Dress it up a little bit.
Yeah, or you can put something on the outside and they can climb it like sticks.
You could even do like a spray glue and sand or something would be.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Excuse
For
me.
bigger reptiles in your life. I can't remember what I paid for this, but I know it wasn't much. And my
Probably
skinks,
about $4.
yeah, my skinks don't care for it plain like this, but I got it because, of course, it's easy to clean, easy to disinfect.
Sure.
But if I had one skink, I would put some silicone in here and maybe some rocks.
Sure.
And then on the top, sphagnum moss stuck to silicone. And then, anything you want out here, sticks, leaves, sand. And that's a lot of different textures. You can have it this way and then flip it over this way and climb in it. So, yeah, it's not a lot of money. It takes some time. And silicone smells horrible.
It does for a while too. It's not like, oh, it's dry, it's good. No, it still smells like a foot.
You have to leave it in the garage for like but for the tiny babies, I just buy these paper plate, but they're bowls, and it's a hide. And they will poop on it in a day. So and they don't cost anything.
I was surprised at how much noise there is when they poop. Like, I was pretty surprised by that the first time I heard it.
Yeah, sometimes they squeak. Is that what you mean?
I thought something horrible was happening. It was drawn out. It was bad. It took like 10 seconds. I didn't think it was that big a deal.
About normal, but I mean, it could mean that or something stuck if it's continues like all day or something.
Oh, but no, I assumed it was some kind of gas, maybe.
They do pass gas. But when that first happened, I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. I thought it was my dog.
Yeah, I got every animal in my house, so
Well, so this box is a favorite because it has a hole in the top of it.
Okay.
It's just, what brand is this? Flukers for the lamps. I tape the sides so they'll stay as a box. But I wish I could show you. Let me see. Can you see this guy in here?
I can see the box in there. Yeah. Is that where you put the skink that you had? Oh, I see him. Yeah.
He's been playing with these two boxes for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'll sit and watch and he'll just play and play and play. And he'll go up out of that hole and then go around and go back down in that hole and he flips them over. And he just has a ball with those two boxes. This is the most playful skink I think I've ever seen.
Gotta keep him around. He's a new kind of.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's number 6.
Oh, that's not the one that you had out then.
Yeah, that was number 5.
Okay.
I have to, if I get them mixed up, I'm in big trouble. So I have to label everywhere I put them. Because, get them mixed up and then somebody wants to buy one, they get the wrong one. That would be pretty bad.
Yeah. No good. Good.
For using boxes because they love them. And, if they poop on them, you just throw them away.
Yeah, and we definitely have, like, as keepers and sellers and all of that, we definitely have all of that material sitting around that we can DIY. Mm-hmm. It just takes a little time, like you said. But, I mean, how much time is it to cut a hole in a box and tape the corners down so it's sturdier?
Yeah.
5
Right.
minutes.
Some of my hides are cat boxes, cat litter boxes. They're plastic.
Okay.
Cut an opening, go right in. They can get on it. They can get in it. So super easy to clean and disinfect. So I like those a lot. And I paid $4 for each of those.
For one of the little litter boxes. Yeah, they have disposable ones too that are like kind of egg crate.
What are they?
They're a litter box, but it's like you just throw it away when you're done. It's like made out of
Cardboard?
compacted egg crate, kind of.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
another egg crate. Comes like in a 12 by 12 piece.
Yeah.
Like bend it in half and crack it.
Okay.
And you got an egg crate that is going like this.
Sure.
And they can crawl in it and crawl on it. And it's a different feeling because it's that compacted, whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like paper
Feeling.
mush.
Yeah. So I have
I
some.
didn't think about textures ever. That makes a lot of sense. Like their whole body is, always in touch with the ground.
Yeah. Like from their neck to the end of their tail, they feel
Yeah.
walking on. So something smooth, something hard, something soft. I have quick. So I give this tip to a lot of new owners. Get one of your stinky shirts. I literally this out of my dirty clothes basket. Has my smell on it, and just toss it in there, and they will crawl in here and hide and play. Also, all the while they're smelling you, so they get
getting comfortable with it.
yeah, or just any material. Like you could use terry cloth, you could use velvet, you could use burlap, all of those. It's a temporary thing for a few days, but it's a different kind of feel for them.
Well, this whole basement smells like me, so it's all good. This is my zone. The wife, she doesn't even get down here, so it's all good. That's a little too much information, maybe, but.
So there's I don't know what this is called, but it's like it's made of fabric and it goes around your neck, has elastic, and like you stretch it out and put it on.
And like the thing they have on for cooling your skin, kind of. If you wet it, it'll cool you out. Is that what you're talking? It's like spandex almost.
No, this is like a tube, sort of, but it's not sewn together all the way. I don't have any, but a client found it. So yeah, it's like a cloth tube, but it's not sewn all the way. It's open, and she wears it around her neck, and she puts her skink in there, and just wears them around her house. It can crawl all the way around. Keep on going.
I always wonder about those people. I gotta tell you.
Yeah, well, she's an excellent skinky parent, so
Sounds like.
Wish that everybody was a great skink parent like her and like you and a few that I know.
I could be a lot better. Yeah, I'm a harsh judge of my own keeping techniques because I'm kind of hands off. I think Bingo's probably the most involved pet that I have, including the cats. So cats are really easy. So they come to you when they want attention. You don't have to go get them out. You don't have to make special trips. That was my knee. I don't know what just happened to my knee, but it was not good. Yeah, the cats will find you if they need attention. The other animals, you have to kind of decide what they need. So the only involvement I have with my ant colony is just making sure they don't escape. Like that's the primary concern with them. Otherwise, they're super easy.
I told my grandson, who is petrified of ants, because we have fire ants here.
Oh yeah.
They're horrid. And so he's really scared of ants. And I told him that I have a friend who has ants in his house for a pet. He was like, "No, Mama." I said, "Don't worry, I won't bring any ants in."
They're not the same, but Sheila would attack you. So she attacks me every time I invade her territory. Yeah. It's not serious. It's not like, you can, the only thing they do is if you have like a cuticle cut or something, I'm always I have a nervous tick. I pick at my fingers. I don't know if you guys can see on the middle finger there. There's like a boo-boo.
Mm-hmm.
That's self-inflicted. But if I have those all over my fingers right now, I'm a bundle of nerves at work. But if I put my hand in there, they'll find that and they'll bite it, and then they spray this formic acid in there. It's like lemon juice.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's not good. But that's about as bad as it gets. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So it's not that big a deal. But like when they're biting you, you see them hanging on you and trying to spray you, but you don't really feel anything.
Wow.
So yeah, they're not carpenter ants. I think are a great ant species if you're going to keep them. But they have even my ant colony. I don't know if you guys have seen. Go back and watch the videos of Sheila. They're not usually live streams. They're usually in just a video section, and they're a little shorter. But for an ant colony, she has a ton of enrichment. So I don't change up a whole lot for her, but I change up where I feed, the points that I feed at. So she has to make trails to different areas. But I mean, she has a waterfall. She has 2 tanks to go between. There's a canopy of sticks in the top branches that she uses as a highway. Yeah, she's got it kind of made. There's fish. She steals the fish food. Yeah, because she gets right on the edge and pulls whatever fish food floats up to her and takes it back to the babies. So,
Well,
but you can give. I think enrichment is good for any animal. Like if you have,
absolutely.
Feeder roaches, feeder crickets, like you want them to have some kind of longevity.
Yeah.
They need something, different surfaces to crawl on, shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, they're giving their lives, so why not make their short life the best?
Well, I think it makes healthier feeders for your animals. That you want your feeders to be as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
So if that helps, why not do it? It's easy. It's not even anything that's hard with feeders. You don't have to get crazy. Like don't make them a habit trail or something, but yeah, make egg crate castle or something. I don't know. That's a little extreme too. But you can do different things like change up their food. They don't have to have the same thing every day,
Right.
like we do with our isopods. I can't tell you how many dried foods I have for the isopods where it's like a buffet every week.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on Podsgiving again, folks.
Oh,
So we're going to see some food testing done.
I sure expect you to eat one of those orange isopods.
Nope. They're in Bingo's tank and they're feeding on Bingo's poops. So that is not happening.
Yeah, that would be kind of bad.
They're the worst. They are the worst. So she also has the worst poops of any animal that I have. But okay, next. Oh, go ahead.
They don't smell as bad as beardies. I think beardies have the worst smelling poop ever.
Really?
Like that. Bearded dragon poo is like death.
What does the audience think? What do you guys think? Leave a comment if you're not watching this live. If you're watching this live, get in the comments. What are you doing? Interaction is gold. Yeah, there's so many things like different lighting techniques. You can move their basking spot around a little bit. You can, although what I was reading about the Northie blue tongues is that they are kind of territorial.
They
But it's
are.
kind of a big territory, so they interact with other blueies. They don't fight them off or anything, but like they kind of have a big area that they kind of map out in their head or whatever and go from little area to area, but it's like a set spot. So changing it up is great. Yeah, they'll do like a tour. It might take them a couple days even, but they kind of stick to the same zone. So,
especially during breeding time, they will really fight.
Oh, yeah?
Males will fight until one's dead.
Ugh.
I mean, even not in breeding time, they may fight like that.
Okay, so they are pretty territorial.
Yeah.
Where they go after somebody on their turf. Okay. See, I hadn't read that. I couldn't find anything on that just because they have, just like with cohabbing. I was talking about this offline with Kevin Nasser of Boogie Down Bugs.
Yeah.
And because I'm a big cohabber, I'm like, what else can I put in here? I was trying to brainstorm. What can I put with Bingo? And literally nothing. Like she'll murder whatever I put in there.
I put 2 females together one time during breeding. So I was like, guaranteed this new one that I'd gotten a few months earlier, roommated it, and it was supposed to be a boy. Well, she was a girl. She almost tore through the tail of the other female. She
Oof.
chunks out to the bone, but not into the bone.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it was horrifying to see them fight. They're or breed actually. They're very violent.
Even breeding, like they, yeah. Uh,
There's a lot of biting, and you have to treat the mostly the shoulders of the females, because they bleed. And there are some small cuts, and some of the males will start biting at the tail, bite all the way up the tail, and then all the way up the body. And then they finally get a good hold on the shoulder, and then they will mate. But some males are just slow and they just like circle the female, bite, 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 bite. I feel sorry for him. I don't let it go on for very long. It's not worth it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
to me, last year I had a male that was just nuts. Like his testosterone level must have been just out the roof. All he did was like run circles really fast. He didn't know how to handle himself. And when he did bite, it was violent. So he didn't get to breed. he just had to go back to his apartment and stay there.
He's solo. He's flying solo now. He needs a new home. If
Yeah.
anybody wants to adopt a insane blue tongue skink, let Sandy know. So, is that something that you think is an issue? Like, because they definitely have a great sense of smell, um, with their tongue especially. Is that something you think might be an issue? Is that they have the scent of other males and females basically all around?
I'm sure that and sometimes I will get like something like with my Indonesians, I want to have babies. I will take substrate out of the males and put it in the females, get substrate out of the females and put it in the males, try to
Okay.
spark an interest.
Yeah, yeah.
With my northerns, I will do that. Sometimes I just get their shed, put it in another bin so that it can be enrichment for them to they're like smelling, some other skink, male or female. They're like, there's another skink in here, but it's just
Yeah.
actually shed. Or sometimes I will switch up a toy that has been with one for a short time and then switch it to another and they'll smell that. So yeah, that's have you heard of the five areas of enrichment?
I have not heard of this. I probably have heard of the areas, but I haven't heard this like theory.
Yeah, so I don't know who came up with it, honestly, but I found it on AZA website.
Okay.
Um, and so I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. There's cognitive. So like,
Okay.
um, this is just a dog toy for a small dog, but I got a piece of chicken in there. Probably,
Okay.
but yeah. So puzzle solving, and they are smart. But to get this piece of chicken out, I don't even know if they could actually. This piece of chicken is. I'll just show you what it is. Pretty. Um, Down here in the South, we have such a thing as chicken paws.
Delish.
Yeah,
That looks delish.
I got it in the grocery store. They're always they're so creepy looking.
We have those in like the Mexican grocery store here. We have a high Latino community in Joliet, so we have those in the Mexican grocery store.
Yeah, so I would
And not everyone either. It's like a couple are known for it.
yeah, well, these are just in the general grocery stores here, and it's
They're
just
so gross. I'm sorry. I've eaten them before. I've eaten them at
really
an event. Yeah, and I don't know if because it's in Illinois, so I don't know if they just didn't know how to do it or what, but it was like jelly kind of, like chicken
yeah,
jelly.
it's it's gelatin. It's like squishy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did
not
see
a fan.
that. I saw a recipe online where somebody had made chicken paw. They call it chicken paw jello.
I
I
believe that.
didn't read it because I was just like, no. But yeah, these are sold just in the grocery store. And when I first moved to South Carolina, I was in the Low Country, I was like, what is a chicken paw? I saw this, and they're just like, yeah. I asked this older fella who I thought, well, he probably knows all the stuff, low country things. And he's like, yeah, my mom used to make us chicken paw pie.
Chicken paw pie.
Instantly, I was like, no, because I was
That
thinking,
is some hillbilly stuff right there. That's awesome. Like varmint. You're having varmint on
yeah,
toast for dinner, you know?
it's a savory pie. My brain was
I
thinking fruit, but yeah, he said they ate it all the time. I mean, these cost like nothing,
Oh, I'm
but
sure. Yeah.
it's got collagen, it's got um,
Calcium.
chondroitin, glucosamine, it's got fat, it's got some protein, it's got some phosphorus. They do have bones, so you gotta get the bones. You gotta get the toenails off.
The toenails. Yeah, you gotta
They
trim
got
those toenails.
so
Bingo's never getting those. I'm never gonna have to worry about it. It's never happening. So when I was a waiter, I like to mess with people. I like to do it in every aspect of my life. So is this the guy that was in the boxes, playing in the boxes?
yeah, I was trying
He's
to
super light too. Number
thinking,
6.
yeah,
He
thinking
wants some dried grasshoppers. But we had a little kid. I like to mess with the kids mostly, and this happened 2 times in one day. So the first kid wanted ice cream, and I told her, I was like, "Oh, you weren't good enough. Like you weren't behaving, so you don't get any ice cream." And I didn't know their situation, so she had been bad all day and was basically getting punished. She was like 5 years old, so she starts crying big ugly tears, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'll get you whatever you want. Like please just stop
uh,
crying." You want ice cream, brownies, cake? I don't care. I'll get you some lobster, whatever will make you stop. Uh-oh.
at me.
They're
That's
so tough.
out hand feeding. I mean, it hurt a little. Mostly it scares me when they bite. Hand feeding, they can't tell what a finger or the food is. Because your
Yeah,
finger smells like food.
right.
And I
So
wasn't,
you're okay?
yeah, it didn't
Good.
do, but I wasn't watching closely, was I?
No. Their teeth are scary looking. They're a lot like our teeth, honestly. I thought they were a lot like ours. Yeah, keep messing with them. That's good. You already tasted the flesh. But the other kid I made cry. He wanted chicken fingers, and I told him like, "Oh, sorry, buddy, we're all out of chicken fingers, but we got some toes left." And that triggered. He cried big ugly tears as well.
Oh,
I felt horrible. I told that joke a million times, and never had a negative reaction. They always laughed.
oh.
So
You made a kid cry.
2 in one day. 2
Yeah,
in one day. I do it with my daughter like every day to toughen her up. Gotta get her tough.
slap her around.
She's at that age now. That's the enrichment. That's where I feel like I'm failing at enrichment right now. Is my kid because I'm exhausted all the time.
Oh, well. Kids
So we,
is good, though.
yeah,
They
she
have,
did go with me a month ago to do roly poly hunts,
oh,
and she didn't last very long. But I was like, I need your tiny fingers. Like you can get in there.
mm.
So we trained her in a bin. She was pulling out Panda Kings, and she thought that's what we were going to find, and she got done with it very quickly because we don't have obviously
They're
wild
just
Panda
great.
Kings.
The
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Well, here's the thing that I shouldn't admit on the show again, but we have kind of a high yellow content to our ice pods in my neighborhood. Because I pulled high yellow ones. I collected like 100, 150 one afternoon or evening and pulled out all the ones that had yellow spots at all. Kept them in a bin and let everybody else go. So then I had them for like the first 2 years that I was doing ice pods because I wanted to test out ice pods first. So the project started about 5 years ago. So like 3 years ago, I had basically a 10-gallon tank that was overrun with them. And they were pretty high yellow. So they've got nice yellow spots all over. And I was like, I can't just freeze them. It was like early spring still. So I let them go. I don't know how many there were, but my neighbors are still like, hey, man, do you still do isopods? Because we got these ones with yellow spots and I've never seen those before. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I kind of altered the biome here a little bit, but
Oh,
just as far as color, I figured if anything, they'd get eaten first, because they're easier to see.
yeah.
But yeah, not recommended. You guys can chastise me all you want for that. I wouldn't do it again.
I would. We all make mistakes.
Yeah, I didn't see any harm in it, but now that I know better, I wouldn't do it again. But we do have some beautiful eye spots of Armadillo vulgare. Very nice high yellow in my neighborhood.
You could send me some of those. I wouldn't mind.
I may have some left. I don't know what I did with them. I'm gonna get some from Tennyson Kingsley that are like gold. They're almost solid gold, so they're really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I asked Russ, and I think that's the guy who has the dermestid beetles. Isn't that what you were looking for?
Maybe. No, I don't want beetles.
Oh, the kind that eat the flesh off of the bone?
Nope, that's not me.
You weren't looking for those?
No.
Oh,
no. Okay. I'm not a beetle guy at all. Like, they're fine. I just don't have any interest. And I definitely don't need them to eat flesh off anything. I'm not that guy either.
Okay. I thought you were asking for those. So anyway, I have 3 names.
No.
No.
Anyone who wants dermestid beetles, Sandy's the gal to talk to. She knows.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. That wasn't me. I talk about a lot of stuff. That's not one of them.
I thought maybe you had a dead animal and you were wanting the skull cleaned or whatever. That's what they do. That's what people sell those.
Yeah. I think my possum died.
Did you have them outside?
Yeah, he lived in my garage. He moved into my garage, so I leave him. I let him be there. So, because I figure worst thing, I have to sweep up a dry possum turd every now and then, which I do. But I have to see. I haven't checked yet, but we found there was a massive possum in the street the other day dead. Oh. And I was like, no, don't be my guy. But I think it might be, because there's no way a possum that size shares like territory with another possum. I haven't physically seen him in a while, just see evidence that he still lives in the garage. But we have these giant wood roaches in my neighborhood that are in the garages and the attics, and not the attics, but like the garages and the eaves of houses. And they're massive. So I don't have them in my garage anymore. I haven't seen any more in my garage since.
Possum. Yeah. We don't as like Florida does, but we have some pretty big ones here. They just live everywhere outside and you can't do anything about it.
Oh, like the palmetto style?
Yeah.
Yeah, awful.
That's our dog, actually.
Yeah, right?
Proud.
So your guys get handled pretty often too. I see the photos that you take a lot. Did you have your photo log? Is that what I saw when you were moving stuff around the table? There's not like a log thing on the table, like a flat piece of a slice of tree.
Yeah. Well, my phone is on it.
Okay.
I have another one over. No. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Pink cow.
That's so good.
Piece of wood, vine, rocks.
So good for it. Now, are those bins over there? Is that for the babies?
Yeah, these are the babies.
Okay.
There are 4 bins, and then I wasn't enough, so I have kind of an experiment going. I put some babies in 10 gallons this year instead of these little drawers. And they're in my bedroom. They're all across the dresser. And down the wall. I wanted to see if they would like be more social because they can see each other. And see me and my husband and whatever's going on in there. They're in there watching, and I think that it does make them more social because like these guys, these 2 that I've shown you, they bedroom.
They're 2 of the bedroom blueies.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking next year I might just really scale down, put them all in 10 gallons. And at first they didn't like their neighbors, so I had to put paper towels between them so they couldn't see. But that lasted a short time. And now they're like, they watch each other, and if I feed one and I haven't gotten to the next one yet, they're trying to get through the glass to get the food. I think they're friendlier.
That's a selling point. I think, I'm going to sell you this idea. I'm going to give you this idea for naming because that's my jam, right? You've seen the show. You know I like to name things. So they have to be called bedroom blues. And they were the ones raised in the bedroom. And they're friendlier, more acclimated to people. It's sexy. It's got alliteration. It's like, it makes you think, like, what is she talking about? Is a sad in there? I don't know. The bedroom blues. There you go.
I'll definitely put that on the website tomorrow.
Consider it. Consider it. Hopefully that boosts your sales at least 5%. So, I think that's great. I think that's another thing. Even if you had to put the dividers in between them, and that just gives a friendlier. Like, I was surprised that Bingo, I don't really handle her that much, but she's still very open to it. So she never really, for like 10 seconds, she's like, no, I don't like this. And then she chills right out. And she's like, you do have blueberries, right? That was the deal.
No blueberries, hand them over.
Yeah, not a fan of raspberries. Not a fan of raspberries.
They're not healthy, so
blueberries, I think they're
very healthy.
Yeah, blueberries. I like to change it up. So blueberries, strawberries, she's into sparingly.
Yeah.
I don't do it a lot, but those are her special treats. When she's getting special treats, that's why.
Yeah. Most blueies are pretty easily handled, but they don't like you in their space. So when you're going in to get the skink, they're not real happy about it. But once you get them out of their space, and they're like, okay.
Just like I do the thing, I don't know if this will work for everybody, but I do the thing where you do with like a dog. When you're meeting a dog, I give the fist in front of her face first and let her check it out. And then if she's cool, if she doesn't like walk away or something, then I go and pick her up and she's fine. And I basically get her like, you have this guy here. I try to support as much of her body as possible. So yeah. He's just so chill.
We were talking about the 5 areas of
we were, yeah. Cognition.
Cognition. So helping them to think, giving them a challenge. They don't just stare at the same thing all the time. Food obviously is an easy one. Look at my cheat sheet. Physical, that's tactile, feeling different substrate, walking through a pile of wet moss or over some rocks.
Yeah.
I have one skink that likes to climb the wall, so I have to put rocks there so that she, at least as she climbs, she's not bent like this.
Yeah.
Bent more like this.
Okay.
And rocks are awesome. Rocks will trim the nails for you. So you don't have to do that.
Bingo's a big climber.
Just fun for it. Yeah. So I have actually had to get tiny little scissors and cut nails, and then get the little file and
oh my gosh.
So rocks are awesome for that. So the other areas, sensory, they have the same senses that we do. Eyes, what they see, what they smell, what they taste, what they hear, and what they feel. And then the last one is social, which is not easy for a solitary reptile.
Yeah.
Because they can't just hang out together. But they can see each other, and they can smell each other. And then they can be social with you as the owner.
Well, and even like there's different levels of social, right? So some of their social could be hunting prey, like that's an interaction with another organism.
Right.
Which technically is social. So it kind of probably triggers that same value center in the brain.
Good point. And then death.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, I need a new friend because this one is delicious.
Also, like your cat. That's a social interaction.
Oh my God. Yeah, she's not thrilled. Like the cat sits. I have a box. I never moved it because I thought this cat would calm down. I have those crates like you would have albums in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long wooden crate and it's standing on its short end, so it's tall and it's right next to Bingo's cage. So, and then her food is stacked in there. And I left it there because the existing cats like to check her out. So they sit on it and they just watch her, and they're like, why does she get wet food and we don't? And that was it. That's all they've ever done. They've never even gotten on the lid. And now So the lid had a ring in it, it had an open ring that the Monstera plant came through. It looked amazing, and now the plant's like dying. But yeah, now she's like not cool with the cats, or at least this one. She didn't even seem to really notice them. She would come up and smell them. She would check them out too. Mm-hmm. But now she's like, oh, she sits and stares like with kind of a defensive posture. So
yeah, there's a negative interaction, and they remember that.
Yeah, she definitely has. So I'm hoping that she hasn't had to deal with that in a little while. So now that I fixed the lid, but she still has that memory. So I'm trying to desensitize it. So she just has, it's just another of the same cats that you've been sniffing and coming up to look at. Because she'll climb that whole screen up to the lid.
Unless they're overweight, they will climb a mesh screen in a playpen or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So, logs. She likes to climb on branches. She's surprisingly arboreal. I wasn't expecting that at all.
They're definitely not really listed as arboreal, but they can. These little work a little bit.
Yeah, she really likes it. Like when she's out, obviously she's sleeping now, but when she's out, she's running through the leaves. She's climbing. I'm due to put in more leaf litter.
Yeah.
Just kind of mashed it all down.
Yeah, just put a corner of leaf litter, a corner of sphagnum moss. They love it.
I got to do the sphagnum moss. I haven't done that at all.
That helps a lot if it's wet and they're shedding.
Okay. I like how they shed, where it's just like in patches, basically. Like.
Yeah, it should be in like big sheets. If it's like
chunks,
little scales, like a million tiny little scales, then the humidity is too dry.
It's too dry. Okay. Yeah. It's not doing like little pieces, but it's like
a few,
pieces. Yeah. It's not like a shed like I'm used to seeing.
If you got a piece of shed, like the back comes off, or most comes off one piece, that's good humidity. That's good.
Okay.
So I got this little toy with chicken in it, not the chicken foot, but I just put some chicken breast in the crock pot. Not really cheap, but like at Walmart, it's like $10. No seasoning whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they can actually get this out because the hole's pretty big. But yeah, you can put a dubia in here, but they get out pretty easily.
Maybe, yeah, that can be a mess.
Even if it was a big dubia, I think it would still get out. But any little, go to the toy section of the pet store and look at the parrot toys, because they're pretty tough. And they have odd, weird, crazy things hanging on a rope, like blocks of wood.
Okay.
Like that. And then this.
I was just going to say, she loves a laser pointer.
Yeah.
And I think the morning geckos, I haven't tried it on the morning geckos yet, but I think they'll like it a lot too.
I haven't tried it with them either. I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
But
they're savages. When I gave them small crickets, I was like, what is happening? It was carnage. It was just carnage. No hesitation at all. They just were like, I don't even think the crickets hit the ground yet. And they were like, you're dead.
Yeah. I always say my morning geckos are like middle school girls. They're just like, tear each other. They fight for the hierarchy, for the high parts of the enclosure, and they fight for the what are those called? Little plastic. Well, they're little plastic hides and got suction cups. And you stick them on the side. They fight over that. What I read, I haven't actually seen this happen because I don't know how to tell whose babies are who, but they're supposed to kill each other's babies. So that their line can continue, but the other girl's line won't, kind of deal.
I did not know that. But you get enough survivors, basically, right? In a big enough setup, you'll get survivors where they're the babies. You don't have to really separate them out, right? I mean, you'll lose some, but
yeah, they will cannibalize. But what I read, it's supposed to be the other geckos' babies. I've seen a lot of babies with bit off tails, I saw
Okay.
the other day missing a leg, and
Oh
I've
God.
seen that twice. And then like the leg grows back a little bit, it just heals. Like I didn't do a thing because what can you do? They're so tiny, you can't like hold
Yeah.
them, And so I just let it go, and they're fine. It heals over, but
Wild.
they will fight. And I tend to think the Hawaiian kind with the dots all the way down their back and tail. I think from what people tell me, I think they're maybe the more violent crew.
Wow. All right.
But
That's the cost of being pretty. So now, speaking of that, I was going to.
there's mean girls in the middle school.
I'm going to show these guys where we're at with this real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see. Speaking of, this was built with, or is being built with, enrichment in mind. So we have where we see pink. This is a hide. This is a hide. This is a hide. There's some hides that are completely covered here. Not on that side, but on this side, there's a hide that's completely covered over here. There's one up here too, I think, over here, where they have small holes to get into, and there's going to be a couple stuck on the glass. Now I'm thinking I need to build one, put some up that have really smaller holes where maybe the adults can't get in. But back here, this will be stuck to the back corner of the tank, right? This will be what you see. And then the back corner of the tank, I'm going to try to get it on kind of a lazy Susan situation. We'll see if that happens. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But you can see inside. You'll be able to see. And then talking to Russ, I found a dye for the dry lock paint. Everybody that does DIY will know, but it's like a sealant that is totally, you can use it in aquariums. So it seals, it's a paint that seals and is totally safe, it's like inert. But you can dye it with mica powder that you can get like for dyeing a candle. So I'm going to do, each hide is going to have a different color. So then I can see like which color is more popular. So, okay, red hide seems to be really popular. Blue hide gets eggs in it all the time. Whatever. I'm just pointing at random ones. I don't know which one's going to be which.
Yeah.
But I have 36 colors that I got for painting miniatures. And so I'm going to use that. I have way more than I'll ever use for miniatures. So we're going to mix up batches, little batches of dry lock and apply it there.
I'm excited to see what colors they like.
I am too. I want to see, but the thing is, like, it's not really scientific because they're all different sizes. They're at different elevations. There'll be different colors, which obviously they'll be able to see what color is what. So I won't know what the trigger is to keep them or to make them popular or not, but it will be neat to see like which one is the cool one. They're different shapes. They're different sizes. There's all kinds of variables. But if it works, maybe I'll segregate some babies in another setup with, all the same ones, maybe 3D printed or something, and painted a different color.
Maybe do like several at the same level because they usually like the bossy ones are up higher and the submissive down in the down in the dirt. So maybe like different colors at the same level, you could tell maybe a little better which color they like.
Yeah, that might work. That's a good idea. So I already have eggs in that jug. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what works for these guys. So to take it like to a weird level. Like it's not like the next level. I'm sure there's plenty of people keeping them better than I'm going to. Again, cohabbing. Everybody's like, oh, the crabs will eat the eggs. And I'm like, well, I kind of want them to eat a couple eggs here and there. And they're going to put them in places where the crabs can't get for sure. Because they put them, on the door? They usually put them on the door frame. So as soon as you open the door, they splatter, basically.
Well, mine usually put them in the hides. Like I'll inside the hide, and there'll be like 15 eggs just on the top, on the bottom. I can't remember what those are called. I got them off of Etsy, a guy who just has a 3D printer and makes. But they look like little condos that you just like stick on the side. Also, I've used plants. Those little tubes you put a plant in. It has like rubber top. Put a suction cup on and you can stick those on the side, or I have a wire around them and then I wire them to a vine or a stick. They love
Okay.
in those, and those are really cheap. But you have to take the rubber top part off.
Yeah, yeah. These are smart
Yeah,
ideas.
I mean they're not like real pretty, but they work.
Yeah. These guys are going to have at least 4 hides that the crabs will have no access to because they'll be just on glass with no. You need to be able to climb glass to climb into this hide.
Gotcha.
And I think those will be just covered in the cork bark or the cocoa core.
Yeah.
Um, I don't necessarily like that look, but I think it'll be good for that purpose.
Sometimes
So,
like is not what they like as far as what we're looking at.
yeah, those won't be colored. I don't think. Well, we'll see. We'll see what I do with those.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's all things that I'm taking into account for enrichment. I'm trying to come up with some kind of a ball, like you're saying, the ball that I could put feeders in and then put the ball
For
into the tank.
for the geckos?
Yep. Yep. So then they'll come out like little by little. They're not going to all just be loose. They'll get out of the ball. They're not going to play with the ball, but the crickets will be able to get out. Not
Yeah.
all at once.
Yeah.
They probably will.
Get coconuts, that holes in them pre-drilled.
Sure.
I've used those and they'll go in there and never come out. Especially Magnum moss in there. They're like, this is the life. I love it.
You just sit in there.
Yeah, just like hang it from the top.
Too funny. Too funny.
Babies stay at the
Yeah,
bottom.
there's just so many things to consider when you have these animals, and I love that you're doing it and changing it up for animals that are in bins, because you see people that are just like militant about not using bins. And on the one hand, I get it, but on the other hand, like it's a breeding facility. Like if you're taking care of them in a breeding situation, like I've talked to Wally about keepers versus breeders. Like it's not the same. It's not
different.
Yeah, it's a different method. It's different techniques. Because if you're going to breed, you're not going to have two. You're not going to have two blues.
Right.
You're going to have, because all your babies will be, what are these babies? Well, they're from Jack and Jill. What are these babies? They're from Jack and Jill. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's very, very different. I had pet blueies before I had breeder blueies.
Yeah.
And the 4-foot enclosures, and
yeah,
I built the insides to have caves and ledges they could climb up, and plants hanging down from the with the great stuff, and then cocoa core in it, and I had a bowl with fog coming out of it. It looked pretty cool. It didn't really do much for humidity. Really had to get a humidifier, but it looked pretty cool. But you can't do that as a breeder because, for one, you can't keep it that sanitary.
Yeah.
And some people don't care about that, but I do.
Yeah.
Have grandkids here and they're on the carpet crawling and eating whatever they find.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'm kind of a germaphobe, so there's that. But yeah, so it's different. It's vastly different from being a pet owner to a breeder.
Yeah, and it took me a minute doing the show. It took me a minute to understand, because I don't know why in my head when I started the show, I assumed like I had Wally on and he was showing his setups, and I was like I was thinking he had full bioactives for all of his cresties, of all his 400 cresties that he uses to breed with. I don't know why I had that in my head, and it literally took me a minute to be like, I guess this is okay. To go from I guess this is okay to like, of course this is his setup. Like, it's ridiculous. It would be ludicrous to have bioactives for all full bioactive, like naturalistic enclosures as a breeder. It would be insane. Just getting the eggs, finding the eggs in that kind of a setup would be a maniac situation.
That's true. You have to dig all the time, every day, and every.
Yeah. How do you have live plants in there? How do you not make the geckos lose their minds? Because you're just in there clawing around all day, every day. No, couldn't do it.
I have thought about like really like selling off half of my breeders and then just getting the 4-foot, 6-foot enclosures But I can't really sell off my breeders because I love them.
Yeah.
Like they each have their own personality and they're just different. And I love each of them. Even the grouchy male named Marty McFarty. I just touched him right now. Um,
Was he
I don't.
upset about it? Was he upset that you touched him?
Oh yeah, I can't. Like I opened up, I pull his bin out, and he's just like,
Oh, really?
mouth wide, flattened out. He's got the stance. He's like ready to kill. But when it's time to breed, he is the sweetest thing. It's so weird.
When
And
it's time to eat?
to breed,
Oh, to breed. Okay.
yeah, he's Don Juan. He's like the ladies love him, and he's even nice to me during that time because he knows I am the one that gets him out and puts him with a female. But the whole rest of the year, so like 50 weeks, he's really mean. But
He's really mean.
he came that way, and I can't change it. He came that way. Literally, I opened up the snake bag he arrived in, and he was like, uh, and he had pooped all over himself. So I had to wipe him down. He's trying to kill me. It was,
Oh,
and he's just always that way. But that's him, and I don't want to sell him because I like his natural personality. It's spunky.
I mean,
And
it's different. It's different. I can't imagine. Like, I've seen them in their defense stance, and I can't imagine having Bingo. Bingo's like most of my experience with a blue tongue. She's so chill. And just the only time she's ever been upset, and she didn't even display it to the cat. She was like just hissing and kind of swollen up. Like,
yeah, like
and then she did bite him, but she never did the like open mouth with the blue flashing or whatever. None of that. So that's funny to have him do that just as you pull the bin out every time.
right there.
He's right there. I keep him close.
No, I'm
Keep
kidding.
your enemies closer.
So most of these are asleep. I try to keep them awake, but I mean, do you want me to get any out or take the phone?
No,
Or
they can be fine. I think we covered what we needed to cover. You had blueies on, and that's good. And we can talk about those some other time, maybe like specifically talk about blueies. Um, we gave some vague, random information about them today, which is plenty.
got a couple more.
Oh, there's one of Bluey's cousins, probably, or Bingo's cousins.
That's a different. Let's see, who is this? Nope, unrelated.
Unrelated. Who are Bingo's parents?
Bingo's mama was Katie Skink.
Okay.
There was an unfortunate accident with pet sitter, and she now is deceased.
Uh,
I can't have any more Katie Skink.
that's a shame.
She was really sweet. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. But this is kind of the normal look for a skink.
I mean, the contrast on that one specifically is so beautiful. Like the belly, even the belly scales have like
Yeah,
brick kind of.
kind of pink. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's like you can see individual dark orange scales and then the light. It's just really cool. I love their markings.
Yeah, I do too. I love the color, but I also love the pale whitish ones. Um,
Yep.
I have one dark skink. I haven't picked up a male dark skink yet, but she's really black. So and I love that too. I just think every skink is amazing. Like, look at that face.
I kind of love it. I
That's
didn't at first. It took me a minute when you offered Bingo to me. I was like, do I want a blue tongue skink? Like, is this something I really want in my house? Not that she like creeps me out or anything. Like, she's cute, but it's like kind of snaky. I'm not a snake fan. I don't dislike them, but I don't think I'd ever own one. But there's like it's definitely like a snake that forgot how to snake. Like they grew legs instead of
yeah,
remembering how to snake.
snake. The
Um,
snakes that I felt like. I think their head is very graceful looking though.
it is. I'm sold now. Like I'm sold now. Um, but like I expected a different. Having her in person, I expected a different animal. I expected different motility. I expected different responses to things. Honestly, I expected her to be a lot dumber than she is. I expected to have like this derpy idiot worm in my house, like.
Yeah, I know.
But they're surprisingly smart.
I can tell you a story about another breed, a friend, Dave's blue tongue skinks, and he has a story. I think I read it on his website. He was not there. He was not home, and his girlfriend was there, and she had let one of the males out, and he was just walking around the room, and she looked at him and said, "Are you looking for daddy? Daddy's not here." And he looked at her when she said this, and then he walked immediately to Dave's shoe and got in the shoe. Like, well, here, I'll get in his shoe, wait for him. At least I can smell his foot.
If he's not here, I'll just wait.
Yeah.
I'll get as close to Dave as I can in this situation. That's funny that he listened to her and then was like, oh, okay, then I'll just be over here.
Yeah, okay, I'll go get in the shoe.
That's fine. That's funny. I can't imagine her doing that, but not Bingo. But we don't, like I said, we don't have that much interaction. And the times that she has gotten out in this basement have been terrifying. So, because she wasn't supposed to. But luckily, found her within a couple hours at the latest. So, but yeah, they get into some small spaces for such a big-ish lizard.
Oh, yeah, they can flatten out a little bit.
So she would tell me, she literally told me where she was because she would hiss as I walked by. And so I knew I was getting warmer. It was like warmer, red hot.
Oh, she's not good at hide and seek.
No, but then when I uncovered her, she stopped hissing. So she just looked at me. So she wasn't mad. I think she was like telling me like, hey, I'm over here.
Yeah, she's probably cold. Didn't know.
Yep. Yeah, concrete floor. She was like, can you put me back, please? I've made a mistake. Because I was surprised I couldn't keep her in a 55, even when she was younger.
Yeah.
She was maybe half the size of what she is now, and I couldn't. Probably a little bigger than half the size. But there was no. I looked at her in a 55, and I'm like, whoa. I thought this would be adequate, and it absolutely, for the size she is now, no. Yeah. It'd be hard for her to turn around, I feel like. Like, she could do it, but I feel like it'd be harder. Hey, yeah. Fishy Plumber, we're almost wrapping it up here. We actually went longer than we were supposed to tonight because we were. Oh, sorry. Neither of us is feeling well, so we were going to cut it short. And Sandy, it's like midnight there or something now, so.
It is going on 11.
I'll be up till then. This show always gets me wired. So.
Yeah.
Did you have any closing notes on Enrichment?
Yeah. So everybody's busy. Life is hard sometimes, but don't leave your animal just bored. Do anything. Throw in a box. Put a ball in. Let them see what that is. Just do anything. It will help. And then when you have time and energy, do something better. I mean, that goes for like dogs, cats, parrots, especially parrots.
Yeah. And dogs. Like, there's some really breeds of dogs that need it.
Oh, the working dogs, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a greyhound purposely because they're lazy bums.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, we walk him once a day, and he's good. He'll sleep. He just sleeps. So, but
he earned it.
Yeah, they have to have jobs. Some of those dogs.
Yeah, they'll make their own if you don't give it to them. So, for your own sanity, give them a job to do.
They will eat your couch, won't they?
They'll do something. They'll figure out something that they decide is their job, and convincing them otherwise is really hard sometimes.
Yeah, and they can't tell you. You can notice things, but dogs. Yeah. But I mean, like reptiles, they can't just. That they might look at you, but they can't really just say, I am so bored. Give me a box. Give me a mirror. Give me some different food. Give me a
mirror's a good idea.
Yeah.
I wonder how she'd react to a mirror. I have one sitting in the other, like a smallish mirror. Oh, there we go. He's definitely already engaged to it.
But
What is this?
his tongue's going. He's like, who's that? She looks pretty cute. I like that skink. I try to get pictures with this. It was like $1 or something, the dollar store. Um,
You do a lot of dollar store. Look, trying to get there.
yeah. They
They
don't
just
like,
crack me up. Like no, can't imagine. I can't get over how much like strength they have with those little legs too.
oh my goodness, they are. When I have to pick up Marty,
Yeah.
it's like all my strength from both arms that I have to use to hold it. Like I took him to the vet not long ago, and he brought in a team of 3 assistants and him and me because I told him he's mean.
All for a skink. Like I feel like they'd be one guy on a Rottweiler, and the skink is. We need the team.
Yeah, he actually because he was cold probably behaved better than I thought, but it was all my strength in both arms to keep him still. He will, like alligators, he will roll
Okay.
like he would take a bite of a finger and then do the death roll, and you lose a chunk of skin if not more
Yeah.
flesh. He has done that weird thing where I forget what it's called, but when an animal tucks, and gators do this, they tuck their legs in really tight.
Okay.
And then they kind of swim really fast. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fake, and Marty has done that. No other skink I've ever seen has done that.
I wondered if with their shape, if they could do that like in the sand or like loose soil substrate, if they could do that because they're kind of shaped.
Mm-hmm.
I think of the lizards that they have in the desert they could just dive in and they literally swim through the sand. But they have more of an arrow.
That kind of swimming thing.
Yeah.
He did it when he was upset with me.
Sure.
And I was him back in his apartment, and buddy, he took off like lightning. I was like, what on earth? And he was doing that swimming thing. It reminded me of an alligator.
That's wild, but on land, so wild.
Yeah.
So, and he's getting stimulated, and he's still a butthole. So, that won't solve it. But imagine if he wasn't getting that stimulation, like what kind of jerk he might be. Like it could be 10 times worse.
Yeah. I just don't out any night when I'm asleep.
Yeah. But yeah, there's clearly there's ways that whether you're a breeder, whether you're breeding feeders, whatever you're doing, you can add some stimulation to these animals' enclosures. Obviously, some need more than others, but I don't know. Everybody that watches this probably knows, or most people that have watched this show probably know that reptiles are smarter than we've given them credit for in the past. Like we're finding they're so intelligent. It's just they express it differently than we do. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to detect, I think. But like seeing some of the things they're seeing with snakes and crocodilians and even, the blue tongues, like you've noticed the blue tongues, I've noticed. Even you don't assume they're smart. Right. They absolutely are.
Target training with snakes.
Yeah. Or monitors or crocs again. Yeah. Monitors are scary smart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've heard stories that they watch their keeper. I heard what was it? It wasn't a Savannah. It was like a black-throat monitor. Would watch his keeper and waited to develop. It seemed like he waited to observe the patterns that the keeper did, and then he made a break for it at one point. So, like he came at the keeper and scared him or something, and then attempted to escape.
So had a plan.
Yeah, he sat and waited and figured it out and planned. And it said snakes can do that too. Like they watch your patterns and then can take an attempt to strike. I don't think reptiles ever are legitimately tame. Like I think they're the one creature that I interact with that I'd be like always a little cautious with. Like, always.
Yeah. I think they tolerate us. I would say 90% of the reptile stories I hear from people, breeders, owners, whatever.
Yeah.
They tolerate us. They learn to tolerate us, but they it's very few that actually, want to be friends with us, basically.
Yeah, I mean they're not
That's
created to show affection. Like they're not
right. That's not,
made to be affectionate.
yeah, their instinct is to not be around a giant
Yeah,
predator.
yeah. At the
That,
very least, fear, is a motive.
yeah,
Um,
didn't really
so
sound too much. But I do play music, all the genres for my skinks. I play podcasts for them. I play ukulele.
okay.
I sing to them. I talk to them. I tried violin, but they didn't really like that too much. Because I really don't play very well. But I have one, so I played it for them. And yeah, this one skink just looked at me like with her head up, and then she went far away as possible.
Oh, hi. Okay. Hi, buddy.
Sound as
This
if,
is my. Now we got company. All right. You can show them your blue eyes. Huh?
oh, she
There
grew.
you go.
I saw.
Yeah, he's a character.
Oh, it's a boy.
Yeah, he needs a nail trim again. So he's our terrorist. He chases the other cats. He's got no chill with the other cats. He decides it's playtime and they scream and yell and body slam him and he just keeps coming. He doesn't ever care. Huh.
Wow. Does he talk a lot to you?
He does. Yep.
Yeah, I
You're
had
okay. You're okay.
talked all the
There
time.
you go. Yeah, he decides to do it sometimes at like 2 or 3 in the morning. He wants to tell you about his day, and it's like, dude,
They are
it's
not.
not the time. Yeah, yeah. But
He's.
these guys, super smart. This is like the German Shepherd of a cat, I think.
You think? Oh, nice.
Huh. Yeah. So, but on that note, he needs some enrichment here. Huh.
Catnip.
But right? No, no, he's the worst. we got rid of it. But thanks so much for coming on, Sandy. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for asking.
I had to. So I've been trying to get you on the show for like 2 years now. So, but you kind of offered. So I was like, okay, now I can put
I didn't mean to offer. I was just.
I was like, who wants to talk about enrichment? You were like, I could.
Yeah,
Awesome. You
like
will.
or something or a chat room. I don't know.
Right? Let's
Yeah.
see. We
got my first live stream over with. So.
yeah, you did. Congratulations. The bearded dragon waits for me every morning and starts running back and forth when he sees me. See, beardies, I think, are very attuned to their owner. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love beardies.
Yep. The videos I see of beardies are so great. Or you'll see him at a show with like a hoodie on or something on some couch. There's a local person in Illinois that hers wears a hoodie and sits on this little couch, and he's just out the whole show. He's just out.
Yeah, he has a pillow and a stuffed animal, right?
I don't know if he has a stuffed animal. I didn't notice that. The hoodie is what like enthralled me. I'll check next time. They'll be there.
That's a crab.
Huh. Yeah. But all right. Well, I will see you later next week. I think we have Kyle Bunch is coming on from iSpots Anonymous. So, and we're going to talk about a couple different things. So, but you guys, thanks for watching. If you're watching this later, thanks for watching. No matter what it is, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and go get a blue tongue skink. They're awesome. So,
Call me.
yeah, you'll know where to find her. Aunt Sandy's Skinks.
Yeah.
All right.
It is all done, but almost the prices are not quite right, but I think they're all on there.
Okay. All right. Perfect. And they're going to have bedroom blueies pretty soon. Bedroom blues. There we go.
Yeah, I'll taste.
Perfect. All right, Sandy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.